Hello humans, it's just Martine, and welcome to part 2 of reading my friend's favorite books of 2022. My first vlog for this will be here. In this vlog, I should be reading 4 books. One for Kayla, one for Lizzie, one for Stasia, and one for Natalie. Let's jump straight into it. I'm actually already like 20% of the way into Stasia's pick, for which I am reading The Golden Couple by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. I've read this author duo's 2 other books and I've enjoyed them pretty well, and so far I'm enjoying this one as well. And I've also started Book Lovers by Emily Henry, which is Natalie's pick. I'm only a little bit of the ways into that, but yeah, so I'll tell you when I make some progress. Hello, it's a couple days later, and last night I finished The Golden Couple, and I'm giving that 4 stars. I think objectively it was more of a 3 or 3.5 stars, but I got so much enjoyment out of it, and I really didn't feel like putting it down whenever I was reading it. Like, I wasn't tired of reading it, even by the end, which is, I think, a great sign in a book, so I'm giving it 4 stars. It's about this couple who goes to this therapist. She's not licensed. She lost her license because of something that happened in the past, but they're having marital issues, and so they start seeing her, and things get kind of weird from there. I feel like Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen always write married couple things, and also often use a therapist as some type of plot device, which is weird. Although Lizzie told me, based on a video project that she's working on, that she's finding that a lot of the latest thrillers and mysteries feature therapists, which I think is just a weird choice, but okay. I read my first book by this author duo because I felt like I hadn't heard many use a psychologist, which is what was in the first one, I guess, like a research psychologist. And I guess people still aren't putting that in thrillers and stuff, but I just feel like the therapist thing is getting really common. I don't know. And I still haven't made any more progress on Book Lovers, but I'm like a little ways away into that. And then last night I started both Lizzie's pick and Kayla's pick. So for Lizzie's pick, I'm reading Notes on an Execution, and I'm only like, I think 7% of the way into that. And then for Kayla's pick, I'm reading Recursion by Blake Crouch, because it's Kayla. You gotta read Blake Crouch, just saying. And so far, I'm having trouble with the writing style of that one, but am enjoying the premise, especially because I'm a memory researcher, and there's something about memory going on. So we'll see, but that's where I'm at. Let's have a chat while I'm making my thumbnail for a different video, because last night I finished Book Lovers by Emily Henry, and I'm giving this 4 stars, more like a 4.5 stars, I would say. Now, I'm pretty sure I've given both previous Emily Henry books 5 stars, but I just didn't get 5-star feels from this one, and that very well may be the case if I read those other previous ones right now. It might just be that I'm not in like a romance mood or something, but it was just not my perfect, it didn't give me all the feelings. Now, to be fair, it was also an enemies to lovers, and occasionally I have trouble having all the feelings about those because oftentimes they're going through a terrible miscommunication trope from the very beginning. Like, that's often the setup of enemies to lovers, and I think that was definitely the case in this one, but I still did enjoy it. Obviously, like a 4 or a 4.5 stars is still an incredible rating. I did appreciate all the banter between the 2 main characters in this. I love good banter. I think that's one of the good parts about enemies to lovers, can be the banter, and this definitely had that. The banter was the best part of it. Although I did enjoy like the ending and the messages of it and stuff. I enjoyed the part of the story that was about the sisters, because I think for me, like, it held a lot of the things that I've felt this past year in my heart about being a sister and stuff. And so that was a like owie moment, and my heart definitely hurt at parts in the stories. It just wasn't so much to a level that it was like my new favorite book or anything. This book is about, I forget her name. That's why I always start my reviews with, this book is about this girl, because I don't know their name. So this book is about this girl, and she's an agent in New York, like a publishing agent, a writing agent, whatever, a literary agent, that's the word. She's a literary agent and like a workaholic, and she's talking about how she's the part of the Hallmark trope where like somebody leaves the big city person and falls in love with a small town person. She's the one that gets left, and then her sister convinces her to go to this small town for a month, and they have this bucket list that her sister makes to try and get her like out of her shell and experience the small town life and things. But while she's there, she runs into an editor who she hates. Things go from there. But yeah, this was a fun time, and this was Natalie's pick, so Thanks, Natalie. I was already going to read this anyway, but when I saw it on Natalie's list, I was like, heck yeah, now I have a reason to read it. I'm also more than halfway done Recursion by Blake Crouch, and then somebody else got added to our group pretty late in the game. Now, technically, I'm really early with this, and the spreadsheet isn't even closed for people to stop making new inclusions yet, but regardless, somebody else joined our fun, and for her book, I'm reading The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. I was about to say Clap When You Land, but that's the Elizabeth Acevedo I've already read before. Well, one of them. I've read multiple. But this is one of the only ones I haven't read, and I think this was her debut. Regardless, I'm reading it. And something really weird about it is that the main character is a twin, and she was born second, and she was born breech. And she's like more aggressive than her twin, and those things samesies. Like, her name literally has to do with fighting, and so does mine. My name means from the god Mars of war. That's not why my parents picked it, but I think it's funny that this girl also has this like fighting related name and was a breech twin, born second. She's a fraternal twin, so. But it was still weird. I was like, this is weird. But I'm 25% of the way through that, and this is Allie's pick. So, making progress on that. So I just have to finish that Recursion and then Notes on an Execution, and I'll be done. Editing Martine here to say, then I proceeded not to give you a review of The Poet X because I finished it that same day, and then I guess I was like, well, I already talked about it anyway. I gave it 4 stars. Alright, so just the other day I finished reading Recursion by Blake Crouch, which is my pick for Kayla's list from the year, and I gave it 4 stars. It did have some similarities to Dark Matter. I recently heard somebody give it 3 stars saying that it was too similar to Dark Matter. I think Blake Crouch knows what he's good at. And also, I think I particularly enjoyed this one because it had to do with memory research. So I was like, wow. And there were quotes about like why memory is interesting to study, and I was like, retweet. Love that. So this one was fun. I had a good time reading it. To 4 stars, but I don't really have much else to say about it. Also, when I say just the other day, I mean many days ago. So that may be why I have nothing to say, but I enjoyed it. So I'm here to deliver my review for Notes on an Execution, and I've been putting off telling you this review because I feel weird about it. So I'm giving this book 3.5 stars. So it's not that it was bad. It was largely boring and largely confusing to me. The switching between perspectives got confusing. This wasn't the most interesting book to me. I saw somebody in the review be like, I don't know if it's because I've ingested lots of content about serial killers already in my life that this is like nothing new or what, but I just know that I found it really boring, and it actually took me much longer than I wanted it to finish it because I kept reading for a couple minutes and then being like, I don't want to do this anymore. But the purpose of the story, I think, was interesting, and there were some bits near the end that shot up the rating a little bit to the 3.5 that I landed at. I do think this has interesting things to say about like the death penalty and execution in general that just didn't really come in until later. The actual part about the main character that we're following, I didn't find interesting. So that's the review. But I don't take this as a sign that I should not listen to Lizzie's reviews, because I also recently read A Psalm for the Wild Built, which was on Lizzie's list, but I did not read for this challenge, and I gave it 5 stars. So there is overlap. This book just, I think I expected too much from it. That's that. And that was my last friend read. So I'm gonna end this vlog. If you'd like to go ahead and give it a big thumbs up and comment down below what was one of your favorite books from this year that somebody else recommended to you, and subscribe for more reading, writing, and college lifestyle content. And until next time, bye humans, bye!